Cyclops is pouring their organic guac inside the uterus from the belly button in order to change one baby type to another is super important. To say that this could not possibly be needed for world building, this is literally their cycle of reproduction. The process to create machines, the original Cyclops, is so important to their society because it dictates how breeding, how courtship, how relationships, how population control is managed. And while I can't go over everything here, let's give you a quick dive through the mating manual as to why. By the way, if you would like to be a breeding team member with your own original character in the lore, grab a diamond sub, or you can just support and get your own special copy by grabbing a ruby gold. It is so important, and we're going to discuss two topics. One, the political structure that has been set up because of how breeding works. The main person in charge of the collective, which is basically a society of Cyclops, is known as the speaker. This is one person, but every outpost has a thinker, a feeler, and a lovemaker. And the lovemaker technically has four assistants. You have the matcher and the breaker, and then Cupid 1 and 2. Because the lovemaker has two responsibilities, population and mental health. The lovemaker's assistant, the matcher, has two responsibilities, and the first one being matching, which is kind of like marriage, but not kind of. And then you have birthing, which is non-committal state-run impregnation. Before everyone gets up in arms, no, it's not as bad as it seems because the Cheen, who are basically the women of the society, the only ones who can give birth. Because remember, even though the Machine is intersex, whenever they created the Maz, they basically made a deal with the Eldritch beings in order to remove their uteruses. So they have no ability to actually give birth, even though that they do have a vagina. So the actual act of birthing is completely relegated to the Cheens. As we've already discussed, the Cheens are non-emotional. So for them, the act of birthing is basically a deal of what can they get and what can they contribute to society based on logic. Does it make sense for them to give birth? So whenever we come into a birthing situation, it is the job of the lovemaker to find Cheens who are willing to give birth. And then they also can basically allocate state funds such as stipends and stuff like that to encourage the Cheens to get pregnant with either a Maz child or create a Machine. But for the Maz who can actually go through the hearting process with a Cheen and they want to make their relationship a lot more official, then they can go through the lovemaker to create a matching. And because matching is generally for a life commitment, the breaker is responsible for disease prevention, mental health crisis, and also graveside attending. And because the lovemaker is almost always a Ma, Cupid 1 and 2 are almost split down the middle between being a Machine and a Cheen. It even affects their religion because Sharel, the Unlimited Eye, the main reason that they are recognized the way that they are as the god of Cyclopses is because the Cyclopses could not get a hold of the Senkos and finally get an advantage, even though they created the Maz. The Senkos kept on creating Gerber staunches with the Cheens. It wasn't until Sorel came in and actually made a difference in the war effort, which is then when they became recognized as the god of Cyclopses. If you want to see how this lore is going to impact the actual mangas, go ahead and grab a copy of The Devil's Deal and Night of Slaughter.